Well, welcome on back to another episode of I Wasn't Intending to Film Today. I filmed the video yesterday. Well, actually, I filmed it like a few weeks ago, but I edited it this week. I pretty much spent all day Friday editing the video, and it went pretty good. I really like it. It was a Miles Morales Spider-Man article reaction thing. I really like it. Go check it out. I'm not going to put a whole lot of editing stuff in here and a whole lot of, like I don't have my 4K camera right now because this is just going to be like a quick little thing, because I wasn't intending to do anything, but some news happened yesterday regarding the Detroit Lions. Now, when I made that last video about them, about like Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, I didn't mention Matthew Stafford in that video because my plan was going to be make that video, make my Q&A, do the Miles Morales thing, and then I'm going to do like a retrospective about the Lions from 2009, which is when Stafford got there, until like the end of the 2020 season, or like the off season of 2021. Like I haven't really decided. Whenever I get that video done, it's going to be like a retrospective from that time until I post it. So that's when I was gonna mention that Matthew Stafford was pretty much gonna, like, it was already kind of confirmed that he was gonna get a trade, like they were talking about it for a bit, but then when they hired their GM and coach, it was like the same day that I made my video about the coach and GM, that he officially requested a trade. So I kind of wish he would have done that earlier in the day so I could have mentioned it in the video. So the Lions have officially dealt Matthew Stafford. He is going to the LA Rams, and the Detroit Lions are getting a first-round pick in 2022, a first-round pick in 2023, a third-round pick in 2021, and quarterback Jared Goff. Yeah, that's a lot. But when you think about it, it kind of makes sense for the Rams. Like, when I first heard it, I was like, oh, they kind of overpaid. Like, I like Matthew Stafford. Don't get me wrong. I think he's the only reason that the Lions have done anything successfully, pretty much since I've been alive. But I was like, that's a lot to pay for him. I don't know if that was really worth it, until I thought about something. The Rams are inheriting Matthew Stafford, who was on a 2-year deal for like $48 million or something like that. Like, that's really good for a 32-year-old franchise quarterback who has, look at his numbers through his career. These are pretty good numbers outside of like 2 years, and one of them he was hurt in. He has a better completion percentage than Jared Goff. He has more touchdowns. He's been in the league longer, but his touchdown to interception ratio is better. And he throws more yards on average than Jared Goff does. And that's on a Detroit Lions team that doesn't have a running game for like most of his time there. Hasn't had a lot of great receivers. I mean, obviously he had Kelvin Johnson and the few years with Golden Tate, but other than that, they haven't really been a whole lot of great receivers there, and they only had a good defense once in 2014, and that was the year that they almost and should have won a wildcard game against the Dallas Cowboys. But you put them on the Rams, that has a really good running game with Cam Akers this year and like a few rotational people after that. You add Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee, and Gerald Everett, their 2 tight ends. Oh, and not to mention a top 5 defense that includes Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. That team is gonna be dangerous, I think. Are they Super Bowl contenders? I'm not sure. Maybe I'd add another receiver or something. Maybe an extra piece on the offensive line or in the secondary. But I truly think that team could do something. I don't know if they're Super Bowl potential yet, but I would like to think they would. Maybe with Stafford, maybe not their first year, but the second year maybe. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see. When you think about it from the Lions' perspective, however, I'm not so sure. You might look at it on paper and go, oh wow, they got a good deal out of this. But did they really? Like, Jared Goff was on a really talented Rams team that, oh by the way, had Sean McVay, who I think is a very good head coach. I don't know if he's great, but I think he is pretty good. And he knows his offense. You put him on the Lions, which their situation right now is kind of insane, because, like, all of their receivers are gone. Kenny Golladay is leaving, probably. Like, it's a high likelihood he's leaving. Marvin Jones is probably out. The only two wide receivers they have going into the season that are under contract are Quintez Cephas, a rookie they drafted last year, who was very, very underwhelming, and Geronimo Allison, a guy who they signed from the Packers last year and literally didn't play it down for them. That's who they have at wide receiver right now. That's kind of scary. Now, yeah, they do have TJ Hawkinson. I do like him, but, you know, he can't carry a team. And they don't have an offensive line, the Lions. They pretty much never have. Their running game was a little bit better this year with Swift and AP, but AP is yet another year older, and Swift, we don't know what he's really going to do for his entire career yet. And then, oh yeah, they don't have a defense. Like, their defense is so bad that, like, that play with the Houston Texans in the Thanksgiving game with Will Fuller was pretty much their entire defense, like, the entire season. And then you add on top of that, they have a new head coach who's never been a head coach before, a quarterback's coach who has never even been a coach before in Mark Brunell, which I don't hate that move, but, you know, whatever, and a defensive coordinator that's never been a defensive coordinator before. Like, yikes. And then you might be thinking, okay, yeah, maybe Jared Goff isn't the perfect fit there, but hey, they got 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick out of that. That's pretty good. And I would say yes, it would be, for a team that knows how to draft. But the Lions have historically never drafted that well, and especially recently. With Quinn at GM, they didn't draft anyone. Like, they drafted Kenny Golladay earlier than they should have in the draft. That was a okay pick. And then maybe Taylor Decker, their left tackle, but, like, even that's a little bit shaky. They haven't drafted well. Really, like, at all. And now you get a GM who, again, has never been a GM before. We don't know how he's going to draft. At least this might end up good for the Lions, but more on par with what the Lions normally do. They'll pick 3 bad people in the draft and get a quarterback who cannot carry a team on his back like Stafford can. Because Stafford, despite the fact that the Lions weren't always successful, he was probably the biggest reason why they were in most of their games with him at quarterback. You take him away and put a quarterback who I believe needs a good coach, a good defense, and a good running game for him to be slightly above average, and then you throw him on a team with none of that, I don't know how he's gonna fare. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this trade. I don't know. I'm really excited to see, actually, just from the Rams' perspective. I really hope Stafford gets a shot at a Super Bowl. I think he deserves it. I think he's been great for the Lions, and I think he doesn't get the recognition he deserves as being a good quarterback in this league. So hopefully it works out well for them. Yep, well, that's my thoughts on this. So comment down below what your thoughts are on this trade. And what do you think about me making 2 back-to-back videos, even though that was not my intention? So yeah, my Q&A is coming probably next week. There's going to be a lot of editing in that, so it might take me a little bit. But hopefully it'll be next Saturday. And then after that is going to be my Detroit Lions retrospective. So keep tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Goodbye!